Hello everyone, my name is Giulia Larato. I work for the European Education and Culture Executive Agency, and today I am pleased to present you one of the international Erasmus Plus actions, the Erasmus Plus virtual exchanges in higher education and youth. Let me start by explaining you what are the virtual exchanges. Virtual exchanges are online people-to-people activities targeting young people aged between 13 and 30 years old, with the focus on promoting intercultural dialogue and soft skills. There is a strong focus on the international dimension of these exchanges and the fact that these activities must take place without physical mobility. Everything shall be online. Virtual exchanges shall take place in small groups moderated by a trained facilitator, and they should be easily integrated either in youth non-formal education programs or in higher education courses such as university courses. Let's have a look at the objectives, activities, and expected outcomes of this action. You can see here 6 objectives of the call. It is very important that when you apply, you make very clear which of these objectives you will be tackling. The following objectives are foreseen for the call: encouraging intercultural dialogue with third countries not associated to the program, promoting various types of virtual exchanges in order for these people to benefit from intercultural and international experience, enhancing critical thinking and media literacy, fostering digital and soft skills developments, promoting citizenship and common values such as freedom, tolerance, non-discrimination, and strengthening the youth dimension of the European external relations. Moreover, there is a strong focus and attention to gender sensitivity and to socially and economically vulnerable realities. We will talk about this later on when we will have a look at the regions addressed. What are the activities and expected outcomes? There is a wide variety of activities that can be carried out. Here are some examples. The common element of all these activities is the learning dimension of the virtual exchanges. Examples of virtual exchanges are online facilitated discussions, for example, online workshop on how to tackle disinformation in social media, training courses for youth workers for virtual exchanges, courses for university professor staff for virtual exchanges, for example, train the trainer session for facilitators on how to deliver virtual exchanges initiatives. Another example is interactive open online courses where the interaction of the community is crucial. An example can be an online forum. It is very important in order to optimize the resources that you rely as much as possible on existing tools and platforms, and that you foresee a method of recognition of participation. For example, a certification of accomplishment of a certain number of hours for that specific virtual exchange, or a certificate of achievement of the learning outcomes for a training program. Participants must be based in the country of the participating organizations, and activities must also take place in the countries of the same organizations. Now that we talk about the content of this action, let's focus on the timetable of the call and the budget for the projects. So, for that specific year, you will have the Erasmus Plus program guide, that is your document of reference. Here you will find the deadline for submission of the applications, and after that During the first 6 months after the deadline, the evaluation will take place. By the end of the 6 months after the deadline, applicants will be informed about the selection, and for the selected projects, the grant agreements will be prepared and signed between the months 6 and 9. The projects are expected to start the first day of the month after the signature of the grant agreement. We would also like to stress the fact that this project must last 36 months. Therefore, when you prepare your application, please make sure that you plan activities for this duration. Looking at the budget, these are lump sum based projects. The maximum European co-funding rate is 95%, which means that the European Union will be able to fund up to 95% of the budget that you will propose for your project. And the maximum EU grant per project is 500,000 euros, with the following funding rule. That is that for each participant, the maximum investment is 200 euros. Therefore, it's very important that in your application you specify clearly the number of participants you are targeting. When it comes to the budget available, it is important to refer to the Erasmus Plus program guide of the specific year. This is an international action. Therefore, let's have a look at the geographical target, the organization that can participate, and the consortium composition. Which regions of the world can participate? European member states and third countries associated to the Erasmus Plus program, therefore Iceland, Norway, Liechtenstein, North Macedonia, Serbia, and Turkey. When it comes to third countries not associated to the program, the eligible regions are Western Balkans, Neighborhood East, South Mediterranean countries, and Sub-Saharan Africa. For these specific regions, there is a geographical target priority for least developed countries and emphasis on key migration countries. We invite you to have a look at the Erasmus Plus program guide to learn more about the list of countries of these regions. The role of participating organization. In a project, there can be a coordinator. This organization will apply on the behalf of all the partners, of all the consortium. Full partners, meaning organizations that will actively contribute to the accomplishment of the activities of the project and that will receive funds. Therefore, they will be listed in the financial budget table. Finally, there can be associated partners, organizations that can contribute to some of the activities, for instance, dissemination activities, but do not receive funds. Therefore, they are not included in the financial budget table. Who can apply as a coordinator for this action? The coordinator must be either a youth organization or a higher education institution established in a EU member state or a third country associated to the program. Applicants receiving funds must be established in a EU member state, a third country associated to the program, or in one of the eligible third countries not associated to the program. We would like to stress the fact that applicants must be based in one of these eligible regions. Cross-regional projects are not eligible. Regarding the type of organizations, these organizations must be entities active in the field of higher education or youth, youth organizations, or higher education institutions, associations or organization linked to that, or recognized national or international rector, teacher, or students organizations. Other entities may also participate in other roles, such as associated partners. Regarding the consortium composition, there must be a minimum of 4 independent entities from 4 different eligible countries. In this pool, there must be a minimum of 2 higher education institutions or youth organizations from EU member states and third countries associated to the program, and a minimum of 2 higher education institutions or youth organizations from 2 eligible third countries not associated to the program. And once again, these must belong to the same eligible region. Moreover, the number of organizations from EU member states and third countries associated to the program may not be higher than the number of organizations from third countries not associated to the program. For example, a project cannot have 5 organizations from countries of EU member states and third countries associated to the program, and only 3 organizations from third countries not associated to the program. Finally, I would like to specify that affiliated entities and associated partners do not count towards the minimum eligibility criteria for the consortium composition. Thank you very much for your attention. We look forward to receiving your application and we wish you best of luck for that. In case of questions, you can reach out to us via email at the email address specified in this slide. Thank you.